Let's talk about one of the biggest disappointments I can remember in a long time. As we continue to look at Capitol Hill and saying, I'm embarrassed by our government. You know, you have the Speaker of the House saying absolutely nothing, taking one question after saying he's not going to take any questions at about 4:15. But in the afternoon, the President of the United States, after talking with the Speaker and saying, by the way, Mr. Speaker, I just want to reiterate, I am not negotiating, I am not talking, I am not giving in on anything until after you have the CR passed, the continuing resolution, and you raise the debt ceiling. Boom, let's go talk to the press. At which time he takes no tough questions. But I was listening on our Fox News Radio app. I did not know that the President of the United States didn't take any questions from anyone in television. Not that the TV people know more than radio or print, but the people that have been going directly at Jay Carney and challenging him from NBC, CBS, whether it's Major Garrett or Chuck Todd or Jonathan Karl or our own Ed Henry, I guess he's a little mad at them. Because of that, the President of the United States doesn't call on any of them, Elizabeth, when it comes to getting a question out.
But maybe our expectations are too high. I mean, he's not negotiating with Congress. Right. He's not talking to Republicans. He doesn't want anything to be accomplished. Well, why would we expect that he would answer hard questions to television media outlets? Maybe we should just give up on the idea of him answering anything.
Well, and at one point, the president said, I'm just going through my list, guys. Talk to Jay, like Jay Carney runs the White House.
And he giggled in the corner.
Look, the president can decide exactly who he wants to, but he bypassed the front row because mainstream media, just like you take a look at the public opinion polls, blaming both sides for the government shutdown. The latest Washington Post poll said that 70% of people blamed Republicans and 60-some% blamed Democrats. I don't think they like that whole blame both sides thing.
But what's some of the questions that you would have asked? And we've been getting a lot of your tweets. You read some of them last hour. I mean, one question I like to ask is, excuse me, Mr. President, you said never before in our history have we ever held the country ransom on the debt ceiling and the fair credit and faith of our government. But it's not true. Ronald Reagan in '85, they did. They got some very important price controls, spending controls put into our legislation. I didn't know this, but in 1997, with Clinton and Newt Gingrich, who were at loggerheads, when they came back, they had a capital gains cut.
Sure, they made it work.
Yeah, they made it work.
We
came back and we're on turbo speed. They used the deadline to force change.
But this isn't negotiation language that's been used. I mean, certainly no questions were asked about the hostile language that's been used, including the word hostage, insane, ransom, nuclear bombs, chaos, disaster, when it comes to the buildup of discussions. You know, is this the same president who's used these terms, along with those in his administration, that we heard from after tragedies long ago, where he said that the hate language, it's divisive, that we should be peacemakers? Where are you now?
Yeah.
And this language being used against your own house?
Sure, and remember when the President of the United States, now President, he was a senator and he was running, he said, I'm going to change the tone in Washington. And you look at those words and you think, wait, the tone has never, ever been worse. And of course, for the last 10 days now, the President has spent pretty much every opportunity at a microphone to badmouth the Republicans.
All right, here's what you said, questions that you wanted asked. Tim wants to know, why is it, Mr. President, okay to raise the debt ceiling now, but a failure of leadership to raise it in 2006 because we're adding to the debt of the country?
Exactly, and Kathleen on Facebook would ask the president, why couldn't I keep my health care plan that I liked, and how am I saving with a 50% increase?
And Tracy would have asked, what was the motivation behind delaying Obamacare for businesses and not citizens? And by the way, yesterday at the press conference, not a single question about the Affordable Care Act, which, as we know so far, has not been working out smoothly.
Right. And just last thing there, in terms of a probable end, the president did leave the door open just a little bit, saying he might be open to a short-term raise in order to get additional time to negotiate.
With conditions.
Yeah,
with conditions.
Which means he's going to have to cave, which is going to bug him. Meanwhile,